만나서 반갑습니다. 예. 예. 제가 한국말이 조금 섞인 거라고 아직 한국말로 제가 프레젠테이션을 안 해봐서 영어로 궁금한 거 있으시면 can always raise your hands and ask me questions. Okay, so I'm trained as a biomedical engineer, and also during my postdoc years I learned something about immunology. So I'm going to hopefully tell you a good story where you can use engineering tools to enhance immune responses. And in particular, I'm looking at ways to come up with better vaccines. And I think a vaccine is a crucial improvement that humans made to medicines over the past 200 years. And what's really cool about vaccine is that you have a specificity and memory responses. What I mean by that is that the immune responses, as you all learned from Dr. Kim's class just now, the immune system has T cells and B cells that are making the crux of the immunology. And they have developed specific means to come up with anti-tumoral as well as anti-infectious pathogen responses that can go out and kill tumor cells for the cases of T cells. And for B cells, they secrete antibodies that go into systemic circulations and then neutralize pathogens. Do you have a laser pointer? So if you come up with ways to better activate T cells and B cells, you can come up with really cool vaccines against infectious pathogens, as well as coming up with new cancer therapies that utilize immunotherapies. Or you can come up with better therapeutic options for transplants as well as regenerative medicine. So hopefully I'll tell you today, focusing on our efforts to come up with better vaccines that better activate T cells and B cells. Before I go into technical details of my projects, I wanted to bring up a very basic understanding of immunology. So if you think about getting an infection in peripheral tissues, there are two major ways how our immune system recognizes that there is an infection. One way is for peripheral infectious pathogens to release what's called antigen. These are proteins or peptides or polysaccharides that enter the lymphatic systems, and then they passively drain through the lymphatic system, and then they interact with the T cells and B cells in lymphoid tissues. And another way our immune system can recognize infection is through this cell-mediated antigen delivery mechanism, where peripheral monocytes that are in circulation will enter the peripheral tissues, phagocytose infectious particles, and then actively migrate to draining lymph nodes, and they will interact with the T cells and, for example, antigen-presenting cells that will alert that there is an infection in peripheral tissues. And our immune system will respond by proliferating those T cells in lymphoid tissues, and they will undergo extravasation into blood circulation, and then go to peripheral tissues, trying to kill cells that are infected with the pathogens. And if you look at vaccine approaches, we try to come up with better strategies to mimic this whole feature. How there is an infection in peripheral tissues, and how antigens range from peripheral tissues to lymphoid tissues. And then how T cells proliferated the organs and then enter the systemic circulation. We are trying to recapture this whole process through a process called vaccination. And if you look at this process more closely, there's a certain window of opportunity. You can think about doing vaccinations using soluble antigens, shown on the bottom left, that can be made of small peptides or proteins. And you can also come up with vaccines by formulating them into nanoparticles or microparticles that mimic features of a pathogen's better. So I'll tell you a little bit about how we are trying to shape this morphology of nanoparticle systems to better mimic these features of pathogens. And you may ask, what is the advantage of using nanoparticles or microparticles for vaccine approaches? If you think about virus or bacteria, these are pathogens, they are basically nano or microparticles. And when our immune system encounter these nano or microparticles, they elicit much stronger immune responses. And they can come up with a better ways of triggering CD8 T cell responses in a process called antigen cross-presentation. And we can also put antigens on the surfaces of the particles or encapsulate them into the particle core to better activate B cell responses. And we can also put what's called a danger signals derived from pathogens to elicit strong inflammatory responses in response to these particle vaccination. So in my laboratory, we have 4 different systems that try to address each component of this complex cellular materials interactions. One system that we came up with is called bio-interlayer cross-linked multilamellar vesicles that we use for vaccination using protein antigens. And we're also developing lipid biopolymer hybrid systems for infectious pathogens. And we're also synthesizing old nanoparticles that have shapes of virus-like structures that can be used as a cancer immunotherapeutic platform. And we'll also work with a synthetic high-density lipoprotein or good cholesterol that we use for peptide vaccination. So today I'll talk mainly about these 2 particle systems, interbiolayer cross-linked vesicles as well as synthetic high-density lipoproteins. We use these for protein vaccination, and we use these nanoparticles for peptide vaccination. And I'll go through briefly about their advantages and their use as a vaccine platform. So let's talk about doing vaccinations using peptides. As you all know, peptides are made of amino acids and they're particularly small, but we can use the defined chemical structures from pathogens to come up with the better vaccines. But one of the main challenges of using peptide as a vaccine is that it's such a small macromolecule. So when you inject into peripheral tissues, it gets picked up by the blood circulation. And if the particles are less than 6 nanometers, it gets cleared through the systemic circulation system. So what happens is that if you inject peptides, it goes to systemic circulation, go to lymph nodes, spleens, livers, and all over the body. But what you want is that you want particles to undergo lymphatic draining so that it goes to lymphoid tissues and as well as spleens. So if you look at this diagram, as you increase the size of nanoparticles from 6 nanometers to 30 nanometers, you see more and more of the nanoparticles draining through the lymph system, potentially targeting to lymphoid tissues. So what we are trying to do in the lab is to formulate these simple peptides into particle systems that are about 10 to 20 nanometers that have ideal particle size for draining through the lymphatic system. And for this, we are using good cholesterol, high-density lipoprotein that has particle size ranging from 10 to 20 nanometers. So as you all know, as you all learned today, what we're looking to do is we are designing particle systems that will deliver peptide antigens to lymphoid tissues where they are taken up by immature dendritic cells, and then they will interact with the T cells to better activate CD8 T cells. And these T cells we designed so that they go out and kill tumor cells. And these are cytotoxic CD8 T cells that we are trying to train by using these nanoparticle systems. So the particular nanoparticle system that we are using here is a good cholesterol, as I mentioned before, or high-density lipoprotein. Their main job in body is to transfer cholesterol from peripheral tissues to liver. And their main job, as you'll know, is to clean up blood vessels. And if you eat bad cholesterol, high-fat diet, you acquire this plaque that causes atherosclerosis. Good cholesterol removes these plaques from the peripheral tissues. And if you look at this more closely, the native good cholesterol has a nanodisc shape, but as they take up cholesterol, they acquire these nanoparticle structures, and then they are taken up by the lymphatics, the hepatocytes in the liver. And these nanoparticles, or HDL particles, have a single lipid bilayer that's wrapped around by a protein, and shown here is apolipoprotein A. But we can make mimetic peptides that are about 18 to 22 mer, which really short peptides, that mimic features of this ApoA protein. So what it does is that it basically makes an alpha helical belt around the phospholipid layers, making a really tiny nanodisk at about 10 to 20 nanometers. And one particular advantage of using this good cholesterol is that it has already been tested in patients. Up to 1,000 patients were injected with this nanoparticle systems in a biotech company by Asperium and Serenix. So if you inject these nanoparticles by IV and look at the patient's blood, what you see is that it has a long circulation half-life, lasting up to 2 days or sometimes 7 days, depending on formulations. And you can inject up to 45 milligrams per kilo, which is a quite high dose for peptide as well as phospholipid-based nanoparticle system. And as I mentioned before, the main job of the cholesterol is clearing atherosclerosis. And here what they're doing in this biotech company is that they're injecting these HDL to patients. They are giving 5 weekly injections, and after this, they saw 20% reduction in atherosclerosis in patients, showing that these are very safe nanoparticles that have been injected up to 1,000 patients. But for the purposes of this project, for our work, we are not trying to eliminate atherosclerosis, but we are trying to use this platform for delivering peptide vaccines. So this is overall schematic of our particle system. So we have 10 to 20 nanometer particles that are delivering peptide antigen, trying to deliver them to dendritic cells. These are antigen-presenting cells in lymphoid tissues. And hopefully the T cells will recognize the peptide antigen and then expand and then go tumor cells. So this is a slide describing the process of this particle formation. We start out with the simple liposomes, and by adding this 22-mer peptide mimicking ApoA, they turn these liposomes into small nanodiscs. And you can see this turbid particle suspension turns into clear particle suspension, and the lipids that we have are composed of a DMPC and DOPE with a PDP group for peptide conjugation system. And this is achieved by using thiol-displaying peptides, synthetol in this case, where we use pyridyl dithiol leading group for conjugating peptide to the lipids. And after incubation for 3 hours at room temperature, the peptide will get linked onto the phospholipid groups. And then we also add this asthma molecule called the CPG. This is DNA mimicking macromolecule that activates immune responses. And after 30 minutes of incubation, we have nanoparticles that are co-loaded with peptide antigens and asthma molecules. And this is a slide showing that yes, we do get peptides linked onto this phospholipids. And as you can see in this HPLC, you see this DOPE PDP group is popping in this pink E, is disappearing after incubation with thiol-displaying peptides, showing that there is a good conversion of this good living group to thiol-displaying peptides. So we see about 92% of our peptides are loaded onto HDL particles. And as for CPG DNA, we utilize a cholesterol tail so that the hydrophobic groups can intercalate into phospholipid layers. And we use HPLC to confirm this. And we do see up to 98% of cholesterol CPG get intercalated into HDL particles. And as I mentioned before, the particles are about 10 nanometers on average. And what's really cool about this particle system is that you can sterile filter it, and you can also store frozen for long term. and thaw it right before use, and they do maintain their initial particle shape of about 10 nanometers, showing that these are really amenable for long-term storage and hopefully sending to third world countries for vaccination. Okay, so one of the first things we examined is looking at immune activation. And we do this by culturing dendritic cells, which are antigen-presenting cells, with our particles. And we see how the dendritic cells activate their immune markers. CD40, CD80, CD86, these are all costimulatory markers necessary for activating T cells. And what we see is that after incubation with our particle system, they activate their CD40, 80, and 86 in response to particle vaccination, showing that these are inflammatory particles with ideal properties to activating responses. And then what we did was we wanted to see if the antigen peptide gets presented on MHC1 on dendritic cells. When dendritic cells will encounter protein, what they do is they divide that into peptides and then loading them onto major histocompatibility complex 1 and 2, depending on the sequence of the peptides. But what we are doing here is that we are adding this peptide instead of protein. And then they get endocytosed, and then they display peptide antigens of the cell membrane through MHC1 complex. And what we see is that in comparison to injecting just simple peptides, our nanoparticle group is significantly enhancing presentation of the peptides on dendritic cells. And that was quite intriguing because we are adding the same amount of peptides in soluble versus nanoparticle form, but we see different responses in terms of antigen presentation. So if you look at the kinetics more closely, what we see is that if you inject just simple peptides, it gets loaded onto dendritic cells, but it undergoes rapid degradation, or the peptide gets diluted off from the cell membrane. And you see this degradation of the peptide. But in the case of nanoparticles, the antigen presentation goes up to the tenfold compared to initial stage over 24 hours, and then it goes down. But even after 2 days of the culture, we see robust antigen presentation compared to soluble peptides, showing that our nanoparticles can prolong or extend antigen presentation by dendritic cells in vitro. And next question we asked is whether these dendritic cells can activate T cells. So when we add T cells into the culture and look at their proliferation, what we see is that yes, the nanoparticle system can activate T cells and enhance their proliferation compared to giving soluble peptides. And that's also true when you add T cells for 48 hours after incubation, showing that yes, you do get prolonged antigen presentation in vitro culture, resulting in better T cell responses. And we asked this question whether the particle system endows antigens with a different path of the antigen presentation. So to ask this question, we labeled the peptide antigen with fluorophore 50 and then added that to dendritic cells. And if you look at this confocal images over time, what you see is that dendritic cells will present antigen at 6 hours, but after 24 hours it gets cleared away for the case of the simple peptides. But in the case of nanoparticles, we're giving same amount of antigen here and here, but we see dramatically enhanced antigen uptake by nanoparticles. Interestingly, it initially goes into endosomal structures, but over time it presented on cell membranes through MHC1 molecule. And together with the previous data, this is showing that yes, the particles are undergoing endocytosis into the cells, and then antigen is presenting onto MHC1 and 2 on cell membranes. And we do see these nanoparticle phospholipids as well as 22A peptides that are co-localized within the endosomes. So we do have evidence showing that both antigen plus nanoparticles are internalizing into the endosome. So let's see if this works in vivo. So what we did was we injected this into naive mice, and then we look at the antigen draining through whole body imaging system. So if you inject soluble peptides labeled with 50 fluorophore, and then take out the lymph nodes after 24 hours, what you see is that you don't see much antigen draining to lymphoid tissues. In fact, you don't see any signal increase compared to PBS control group. But in the case of injecting nanoparticle formulations, we see dramatic expansion or enhancement in signals, indicating that you get much better antigen delivery to lymphoid tissues. And this is a quantification showing that yes, you significantly enhance antigen delivery by nanoparticles. But interestingly, we don't see any antigen draining to spleen structures. So it means that there are no systemic dissemination of the peptides into mice, which is really promising. So next, what we did was we injected mice and then look at CD8 T cell expansion over time in blood. This is a schematic showing our experiments where we do vaccinations on day 0, 21, and 42, and then we look at what's called a tetramer. This will bind to antigen-specific T cells in blood and then report you the frequency of antigen-specific T cells that are resulting from the vaccinations. And this is once again showing the antigen-specific T cells in blood. If you inject a single peptide, you don't see much responses. If you formulate your peptides with a CpG plus montanide, this is water in oil emulsion system that is undergoing FDA phase 1 clinical trial in the States. And this is known as one of the strongest peptide vaccine adjuvants that people have developed up to date. And we are using that as a gold standard in our case. And we are comparing that with our nanoparticle system. After second injection, we see that our nanoparticles are competing all these groups, including this positive control, which is really promising. And if after third vaccination, the difference is even more striking. You see up to 10-fold increase in CD8 T cell responses compared to this positive control, showing that we are getting really strong CD8 T cell responses. And what we did was we injected tumor cells expressing antigen to this peptide, synthetal, at the end of our immunizations to see if our T cells can kill tumor cells. And this is a graph showing the growth of tumors on subQ flank after vaccination. And what we see is that in comparison to other nanoparticle formulation or other peptide formulations, our particle group can completely protect mice against the tumor growth. And we see 100% survival in these mice, showing that they are completely protected against the tumor. But this is a relatively easy tumor model to cure because we are vaccinating first and then injecting tumor cells. But no one in this room will get vaccinated against the tumor in their lifetime. What you usually do is you have patients that have tumors first, and then you come up with the vaccines to see if your CD8 T cells can kill these existing tumors. So what's more relevant is this scheme. You first inject tumor cells, and then try to treat them using our peptide vaccines, nanoparticle vaccines. So what we did was we used a parental tumor. This is a much harder to kill, B16 melanoma skin tumor cells into mice, and then did vaccinations. And when you look at antigen-specific CD8 T cells, GP100 specific T cells, we once again see strong induction of cytotoxic CD8 T cells. And compared to untreated tumors or tumor treated with a conventional way of doing vaccinations using peptide vaccine, our nanoparticle immunized mice have significantly reduced rate of tumor growth, showing that our particles are effectively minimizing tumor growth in mice. So this, hopefully I've shown you some results showing convincingly that we can use nanoparticles to deliver peptides to draining lymph node tissues to get CD8 T cell responses that can go out and kill tumor cells. And we are pushing forward for this nanoparticle platforms for using them for peptide vaccination. And because these particles have been tested in patients, we think we can easily translate that to human patients in our future studies. So that is the first part of my presentation. But I want to briefly touch upon on the peptide or protein-based vaccine systems for the second part of my presentation. This is a diagram that I've shown you previously, but here we can also put protein antigens in the surface as well as in the core of the particles to better mimic features of the pathogens. And people have used, for example, liposomes as other nanoparticle delivery platforms. But the major downside of using liposomes is that they are very unstable. If you inject these in patients, for example, loaded with proteins, they would interact with the lipoproteins in systemic circulation and then easily break the particle structures apart. So, in fact, if you use these liposomes as a way to deliver protein over albumin, and then after 3 rounds of vaccination, what you see is that only 1% of CD8 T cells are expressing OVA-specific T cell receptor. I've shown you in previous slides that we can get up to 20% or 30% for the peptide vaccine. So there's a long way to go for this protein-based vaccination. So what we're doing is we are trying to enhance the stability of the liposomes by coming up with this multi-layered structure of liposome systems that we term interbilayer crossing multilamellar vesicles. What we are doing is we are conjugating the lipid layers together across the lipid layers so that the resulting concentric rings of particles are much more stable against the serum proteins after injection in vivo. And we are putting adjuvant molecules that are derived from pathogens, monophospholipid A, to better activate immune responses. And this is how we make these particle systems. We start out with the simple liposomes. These are well known in the literature. And then we add the divalent cations that infuse liposomes into multi-layer structures. And then we conjugate these lipid layers together. And these lipids have maleimide functionalized groups. And we add dithiol cross-anchors that we permeate through the membranes. And then basically staple these opposing lipid layers together, resulting in a very tightly stacked nanoparticle system. And then we cap off the remaining maleimide using polyethylene glycol that has a thiol terminated groups. And because we are using maleimide thiol chemistry, we can also use a cysteine displaying proteins to conjugate them on the surface or in between the layers of the particles as well. So, if you look at this process more closely, we are going from simple liposomes, multi-layer structures, and then we are basically stapling these loosely held lipids together to form this very thick lipid wall particle systems. And you can even see individual striations that correspond to intermolecular distance between this 5 nanometer gap between the phospholipid. And one of the first observations we made was that compared to simple liposomes that show burst to release of the proteins within 2 days in serum, our particles can prolong antigen delivery. Even after 30 days, we see a continuous release of a protein antigen in serum-containing media, showing that indeed when we have this multi-layer structures, we see much prolonged antigen delivery. And what's also interesting is that if you incubate particles in endolysosomal conditions, mimicking the conditions of endosomes in dendritic cells, we see very rapid antigen delivery. Within 24 hours of incubation in phospholipase, the particle undergoes complete degradation and up to 95% of the protein is released. So, just to go through this quickly because we are running out of time, what we see is that we are delivering these antigens nicely to draining lymph nodes, targeting them to dendritic cells and macrophages. And when we do vaccinations, Once again, we are using this tetramer as a readout to look at antigen-specific T cells. After 3 rounds of vaccinations, if you use a simple protein of albumin mixed into solution, we don't see any CD8 T cell responses. With our nanoparticle systems, we are starting to get much better CD8 T cell responses. But what's really remarkable is after adding these adjuvant molecules together with the particle antigen throughout the lipid layers, we see a dramatic expansion of the CD8 T cells, and up to 30% of all CD8 T cells in blood have CD8 T cell receptor against the albumin, showing that we can get really strong immune responses when we use our nanoparticles to deliver protein antigen. And what we did also was we compared the efficacy of our particle systems to other conventional nanoparticles. PLGA is a commonly used nanoparticle system for nanomedicine, and if you give same amount of antigen, or if you give even 100 micrograms, 10-fold more than what you give with nanoparticles, what we see is our nanoparticles are outperforming all these nanoparticle formulations, showing that these particles have a unique ability to activate CD8 T cell responses. And we also use this for vaccination against malaria as a way to show we can get better antigen presentation to B cells and better IgG responses. We worked with the US military to deliver their candidate antigen, Vivax malaria protein. And this is a summary of the slide showing what you get when you do vaccinations on day 0 and 21 in naive mice, and look at antigen-specific IgG, human immunoglobulin in mice, like in serum titer. And this is the combination of the soluble protein mixed with the conventional adjuvants. And these are conventional way of doing vaccinations using alum, MPLA, or montanide. And across different comparisons, what you see is a transient antibody titer that goes up, but after about 100 days, that goes down. And this is showing big transient antibody needs. But if we use our nanoparticle systems, after just 2 injections on day 0 and 21, we see even after 400 days, these mice have a long, lifelong secretion of IgG responses, showing that B cells are undergoing much better affinity maturation and basically somatic hypermutation process to secrete this IgG for their lifetime. And we have shown that this is mediated by what's called germinal centers, where B cells undergo affinity maturation process and memory response. And what we showed was that nanoparticles are forming these depots in joint lymph nodes, and then they are promoting B cells to better secrete IgG responses. And I'll just race through the rest of the slides because we are running out of time, but we are using microneedles to deliver skin vaccination, and we do get much better immune responses when you use skin as a way to do vaccinations. But we are also working to use this as an inhalable vaccine. You can think of applying this to your nose and then get immune responses against pathogens. And here we use the HIV antigen to show that we get T cells against HIV in lung tissues, but what we see is that the T cells go to vaginal tract as well as these GI tracts after nanoparticle vaccination, showing that after just simple vaccination into the lungs, you get T cells all over your body. We think of these really exciting results, showing that we can use these for vaccination against HIV. We've shown in our urine models that we can protect mice against HIV antigen displaying vaccinia after using our nanoparticles as a way to do vaccinations. So I'll just summarize this portion of my presentation. So we are using these ICMB nanoparticles to deliver protein antigens, and we get much better T cells, B cells, as well as we are using mucosal route of vaccine delivery to the skin and to the pulmonary routes together, get better immune responses against infectious pathogens. So this is my group who actually did all this work. We have a very talented graduate student, Rui Kwai, who has done most of work on HDL nanoparticles. Joseph as well as Lucas are working on the isolated nanoparticles. And I'd like to thank my funding sources for providing their generous support. And I also want to thank you for your attention, and I'll be happy to take any questions.